For me, the best way to play Minecraft is with a whole ton of friends, a whole ton of building blocks, and a year to build anything that I want in the game. Now, that being said, I did not expect to put 75 hours into transforming an island and making a monorail. I've made this episode 1 to be like a movie with lots of cinematic and storytelling elements. So if that sounds like something that you would be in for, consider leaving a like on the video. But without a further ado, welcome to the Lotus SMP. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet placing of one more block, when the world feels empty, when the light fades, and no one is watching. Maybe not, Marnie. Maybe it's just us out here after all. Yes, I know, we've always had each other, but remember how it used to be? I miss that. I can't believe it's been a year since we've seen anyone. You're right, it's late. We have a long journey ahead of us. I'll see you in the morning, girl, and then our adventure continues.
But little did Flip know that this very night there was a change in the constellations. And, at long last, he would be reunited with what he had been searching for all year.
Years ago, our founding fish fathers created the Lotus SMP by founding fish fathers. That's it.
Yeah! And just like that, they were off for the start of the season. Mild Maddie was my partner in crime that first day. We hit the Minecraft caves to get straight to work, and she had my back more often than once. After we had had enough of the caves, it was time to head off for an adventure. And might I say, this world, it's mighty beautiful. Now, after about 20 hours of game time, we were still nowhere near creating anything that we wanted to for this episode 1. And so, of course, we continued to collect materials and kept our head down. I would also like to take this moment to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. You'll see by the end of the video that we get a whole ton work done here on Lotus, and there's plenty more work to go. And so, if you're here for that, consider staying along for the journey. Which brings us to today, where I think we have a humble beginning, but a solid infrastructure as well. We have some sweetberry bushes and a sprawling wheat field that eventually is going to spread throughout the entire island, along with some lava cauldrons here, and we also have a humble cow pen. And here in this makeshift building that I do not think will last forever, we also have an automatic sheep farm where someone's come in and said wow. And then over on the side we have another portal with tons of pots and decorations spread all around it. And a very ugly storage and smelting area here, but we're going to need a whole ton of resources in order to make today's build. The Lotus SMP is a Minecraft creator invite-only SMP, which makes me excited to meet and get to know other Minecraft creators here on the server this season. Behind the build, we do happen to have some pumpkins growing in the background, and I do love this shader pack. It's complimentary, reimagined shaders, and it keeps the Minecraft clouds, but it just makes them look so beautiful. We'll get around to chopping a couple of these guys down, and it's worth mentioning that this island is going to look very different in the end, and I don't know if we'll be able to transform the entire island into wheat in one episode, but we're gonna give it our best shot. But as exciting as it is to be in a brand new Minecraft world, it does take a whole ton of time in order to get set up, especially with the first resources that I'm using for the first build of this playthrough. I'm sure you've also noticed that if we head down into this hole right here, we'll come across an automatic wheat farm. Now, this is my own design, but I would not recommend you making it, and it's still a work in progress. If we press the button right here, you'll see that the water will flow down all the way, except for it doesn't hit all of the crops here, meaning that I have to press the button and then I have to go and manually harvest the wheat myself. But I'm sure that we'll get to improving the design over time, because I think that we're going to need a whole ton of mud and packed mud this season. But to be honest, it's almost difficult for me to show you all these parts of the builds at the moment because everything is looking so bad in my personal opinion. So while we continue to get all of the expensive materials that we need for our builds, I say let's go for our first exploration adventure of this beautiful SMP world. And yonder, the dark oak forest. I think that the Caves and Cliffs update was the perfect amount of terraforming that we needed. The mountains are not too high and the valleys are not too low in my opinion. And so I think at first we'll try to head to spawn. Hello, dolphin friend. Look at them go. They're so cute and they sound so cute as well. And so I think that we'll dock in here with our boat and then we'll continue on foot to spawn. It looks like they have a bad man coming, so we'll take him out. Oh, but we're on fire as well. And we have his friend coming in this direction too. And even more opposition on the horizon as well, it seems. I've made a cozy little free supply shop right here, where if we head inside, we can head into this chest, which has tons of meat and beds and barrels and crafting tables to take. It also has enough space to sleep the night, so we're gonna do so right now. But honestly, down to the south is where the magic really starts to happen. Here in this beautiful area, I think that we come across the base of Joel Lamb. He has an iron farm right here, which if I'm being honest, I've taken a bit of iron from. So I appreciate you, my man. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but the tulips that we have right here are so pretty, and behind it, the build, the texturing of the terrain and everything leading down is some of the best that I've seen in a very long time in game. So keep cooking, my man. And man, I must say, this is quite a big continent that we're all living here with tons of different biomes, but I really can't wait with coming up with some creative ways to connect this all in the world. And what a pretty sight that is. Just a chef's kiss in this untouched world. We have some squidlers over here. Hello, squid. We have stridden into the desert here. And I think we should get ourselves some terracotta as well. Well, not too bad, I must say, and we're definitely going medieval with the theme that we have behind us. You'll notice that we have a couple of arch designs right here with some lanterns in the middle and a mix of some stone blocks that highlight everything going along the area. And then to add that extra medieval theme right here, we have some walls with all of the stone blocks leading up to some stone slabs all along the top, where we will have to pillar up very quickly in order to get up here. But you'll notice that we have some railways that lead along the top as well. And so I'm happy with this design. I think that it's not too expensive and it's going to look even cooler at scale. And especially as we continue to fill in the area around it and get rid of all these leaves, this thing is going to look really cool in my opinion. But I have been inspired by another server member, the Gribbly Games. So I do think that we're going to have to jump in the water and give a quick hello to these squids. And then we'll venture off to find a chicken, which clearly will not take us very long. Although, no feather from that guy, so we're gonna have to keep looking. Oh, come on, I know you can make the jump. And so we can pass the cute little pumpkins before leaping into the river and through the hills and back again across the river. Until eventually, boys, we've made it back home, where we can now take out a couple of quick fences along with a fence gate and then try to lead these two guys in here. And so now we can craft ourselves a book and quill, as the man Gribbly Games has inspired me to write even more lore into the world. So I think that now, as the sun sets, is the perfect time to bring out the book and quill. July 17th, 2025. There is something unique about how the sun sets behind the horizon in this world. You couldn't get me there this time, you dang creeper. And I should probably eat up on some food as another one comes around this way. I think we'll let you get away from the storage area before we take a 1 and a 2. I think I may have to practice my warrior skills. With that all filled in, we can get back to writing our book. There is something unique about how the sun sets behind the horizon in this world. Its pace and rhythm remind me of a stallion at a full sprint with a cheering crowd and a trophy at the line. It's an assurance that no matter what's at stake, no matter what's on the line, it will be there to continue the gallop. Today we built the first segment of the monorail. It's looking mighty fine, and I think that tomorrow we continue today's work. But there's one thing that I can't get off my mind. I haven't seen Marnie in ages now. I really hope that she's alright. I think that for the time being, we'll place an item frame here, and we'll place our book and quill into the item frame as well. And we'll keep coming back to update our story over time. Now, I think that it's time that we continue our progress with the monorail. Well, as you can see, I've gotten a bit carried away, but I've loved every second of it. And to answer the question of do you have enough wheat, the answer is absolutely not. But as you can tell, we've placed down many more segments of the monorail, and I hope that Editor Slip is doing a good job with the cinematics. I haven't done any editing yet, and I have a feeling that it's going to be a huge project. But that is okay, for the guy Slip, I really enjoy video editing. But you'll probably notice that we've cleared out the area of all of the junk that we had in front of our houses. Along with we've cleared out the cow pen, and you may notice that we have a hole right here where the babies are falling into, meaning that hopefully pretty soon we'll be getting rid of this cow pen behind us too, because the plan is to eventually have this entire area filled in with wheat. But for now, it is now the following day in real life, and I think that I have some more stamina to keep working on the monorail. In honesty, it looks really cool, but in reality, we have so much more work to get close to anyone else on the server. Now I say, why not give a little checkup? It's been about half an hour or so, and we're now cleaning up the area. Along with, I wanted to mention, I don't know when they added the logs on the sides into Minecraft, but I just love seeing them all around the forests. It's really such a cozy feeling, and it adds so much life to the world. But I do just about think that we're ready to start building the actual bridge and continue along the monorail. And I have a feeling that we're going to have to stop a couple of times because we'll definitely run out of stone materials, but if we head into our inventory just from chopping down all of that wood, look how many logs we have. It's definitely a good feeling having plenty of wood materials to our name, but I must admit that I do have a building itch, so I say let's get back to work. Have you ever signed yourself up for one of those creative projects that becomes so much bigger than you thought it was going to be? And you keep wanting to work on it, but you don't want to work on it. And you keep wanting to work on it, and you don't want to work on it. Well, that project definitely happens to be this monorail that we have here. But we've done a whole ton of work. As you can see on the map, it just extends and extends for a couple hundred blocks at least. And even more excitingly, if we head down a little bit further this way, you'll see that we now have some gold-powered rails in place. So for most of this track, we can now go on a minecart adventure. And I will admit that since it's such a long distance now that we have the railways placed in and it becomes so much easier, it's definitely worth doing in the long run. You'll see that things actually turned out really well at the corners too as we turn around. And then it beautifully leads us over the water. and eventually leads us off to this other minecart that we have here next to our starter base island. So you can probably tell that we need an entranceway so that we can actually get up to these minecarts. So Real Life Slip is going to get back to video editing. We've already made 280 replay mod cinematics for this video by itself. I think that we'll continue to piece this story up in Premiere Pro, and Editor Slip will hopefully come up with something incredible. We have some brand new music for this video, and I hope that you like it. And so to showcase it all, I say let's get back to building. After many hours, I was greeted by a visitor, Gribbly Games. He had come to show me more of the server, and so with haste we set out on his camel. After a bit of an adventure, we took a look at where a lot of the other members were starting the season. And I got to take a look at a lot of incredible builds. We hung out for about 45 minutes and then departed ways, for it was time for us to get back to building this episode 1 mega build. After multiple streams, I decided it was time for a side quest. This building was getting out of control. I got around to building by the monorail, a cute building called Pug's Pub. During the stream, I was able to hang out with Ekum Bokum and saw the Happy Ghast for the first time in game. With our side quest mostly complete, I was feeling like a happy man, and better yet, I was once again motivated to continue our work on the monorail. Of course, with the help of a ton of powered rails from the actual Pug. Finally, to finish off the grind, I cleared the islands of all of our builds to prepare the land for our next major project. I am so happy with how it's come out. It looks so beautiful with the monorail overlooking everything with the sun setting as well. I have also made an automatic wheat farm. We've also been getting around to doing a whole ton more work on the monorail down yonder. But I do think that we have a friend over here that we must go and see. Because you, Blippery, have treated us very well for the automatic sheep wool farm, so I think that it's only best that you get to roam around, but you'll also notice that we now have a fancy-dancy ladder that will lead up to the monorail, which is officially complete for this portion of the video, so let's go and take a look at the progress that we've done. It goes through the forest, which I really like. And I do think that my favorite part is where it turns the corner here and starts to go over the water, where it continues quite a way down. And we can actually pass Pug's Pub, which we still have a bit of work to do on. But we continue along into the dark oak forest until eventually we meet the end and can send back on our way. But we can take a hop into the drink here, where we'll come across Pug's Pub, where we now have a brand new dock, and we also have a whole ton of wheat that is sprawling into the dark oak forest. I have covered the entire area with stone as well, and we still have a bit of work to do on the interior, but at least we have a bed and some storage in here. But we can head back up the ladder once again, and then head back on the monorail towards our base. But as the sun sets on our island that needs a name, we have Blippery that's just roaming around in the wheat field. And I am happy to share with you that it is now officially time for us to actually start getting closer to building our starter base. However, before we get to doing that, you'll notice that I've gotten around to designing a whole ton of custom trees that will go in our field, because eventually I want to have this entire island kind of be like a nature park, where you can come over here and relax and stroll throughout the beautiful fields. However, this is going to be another major project, so of course I have bitten off a bit more than I can chew. So I say let's fire up a stream and keep the progress going. Many hours later, we have a beautiful tree farm in the area. And by tree farm, I mean custom tree forest. But you will notice that we have a bunch of trees right here where we have some spruce doors and then some tough and mud brick walls that line up to a whole ton of fences and then some spruce leaves. You may be able to tell over here that we have two different types of designs, a smaller tree and then a larger tree. Now, I am by no means good at making trees in the game, and so this is a good first at bat, and I know that you kind of have to look at them from a distance. And now, one other thing that we're definitely going to have to do for sure is to put in a couple of pathways around the island. I honestly cannot believe that we have done almost 90 hours of work and we have still not even made our starter base here on the Lotus SMP. So I have a feeling that we're going to have to leave the project of transforming this island with pathways and other designs until the next episode. Along with, I have a feeling that in the next episode we may get around to placing a ship into this area that we have beyond us here. Along with, I am speaking this into existence, but I do have an idea, and I think I may want to try to make a city this season. And if not building cities, I do have a feeling that we'll continue to terraform the area around Lotus and add tons of different fields and architectural kind of points of interest to the world. I am still definitely in between on whether or not I want a base by myself for the season or really just add up the world as a whole. But I also do know that there is no better feeling than having a place to actually be established and call home in a Minecraft world. So I say, let's finally get to making our starter base. As you can see, this build just floats up upon the water, and I'm so happy with what it looks like. On the bottom, you can see that we have some mud bricks along with some acacia fences and some mangrove fences as well. And then the main build consists of a platform that's made out of spruce trapdoors. We have a couple of item frames with some TNT, and then we also have an armor stand right over here. We can take a left over in this direction where you'll notice that we have a library on each side of the build. And then through here, you'll also notice that we have a whole ton of item frames and paintings that really makes this place look beautiful. Although I do think that we could do more for the interior. And to make this place even more cozy, we have some arches that are made out of polished tuff and some stone walls. But we also have a second floor where we can head to the top right here. And you'll see that for the windows, we ended up doing some bamboo on the side, B-dub style. And then we have a bit of storage that we have left over from the fishermen. You can see that if we look into the window, we have an actually beautiful look at the island. Now, if we open this door and head out to the balcony, you'll see that we have a bit of a present with Chespi's face on it. It seems like this is Chespi's noodle gift box, and so I guess we can maybe right-click on it, we can head on down in here. And I say that as we overlook our beautiful island, why don't we go to opening it? Or maybe we have to click a couple of times. It looks like in our hands here, we have noodles don't noodles. And a piece of paper that says free noodle sample, noodles don't noodle, now open. And now that we have some hunger that we need to fill, we can get around to trying it. And man, it really does seem to refill a whole ton of your stamina, and it is quite delicious as well. But as the sun begins to set on this beautiful island, there is only one thing left for it, and that is that we need a name for this island. We also need a name for the fisherman that is going to be living in that shack there. If you have any ideas, definitely let me know in the comments below. A huge shout out to all of the Slipper Plus that you can see on screen, but without further ado, I do say that it is time to get back to work.